Hello and welcome into this week's RNN Diecast review right here on Racing News Now. As always, I'm your host, Garth Allen. Thank you once again for joining me today. If this is your first time catching a Racing News Now video, consider going down below to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications so you don't miss a thing going forward from RNN. On today's Diecast review, you see two diecasts here in front of you. If you saw last week's Diecast review, you know what we're doing this week. We're still going chronological order through the 2018 season with raced wins, or raced versions. So, chronologically, our next raced versions up would be the two that they made for the Chicagoland race. The Overton's 400 in, what was it? I gotta look at the race detail card here. Was it June? July 1st. I was close. In this very epic finish that we got from Kyle Busch and Kyle Larson. You see we're kind of trying to recreate it here with the cars on the set here. So let's, of course, I got both of mine in Elite, as I always do with my raced versions. So let's look at the, we know what the Elite box looks like. We're not even going to really look at it at this point. We're just going to look at the production sticker to see production runs of these things. Kyle Larson, they made 157. And for Kyle Busch, they made 535. All right, so nothing comes in the Kyle Larson box except for the generic Elite Certificate of Authenticity. I didn't even get it out of the box, to be honest. This is the one out of the Kyle Busch box, but it's the exact same thing. The Elite COAs are pretty generic at this point. Kyle Busch box, on the other hand, has, of course, the Cup Series race winner sticker, a bag of red, white, and blue confetti, of course, the COA, and the race detail card. Kyle Busch, Overton's 400 winner, 48th career Cup Series win. And on the back, Busch battles to the checkers for Chicago win. You can pause to read that if you would like to. All right, that is what comes in the box. So let's see. We're gonna start with second place, Kyle Larson here. This is if you can tell here on the camera. I don't know how well it's showing up on the camera, but it is a flat paint scheme for the Larson car, which I thought was pretty interesting. I did not realize until I got this car that the Credit One paint jobs are actually a flat paint scheme. They're not, there's no clear coat or anything like that on these Credit One cars. If I can get the hood open here. But yeah, I thought that's really interesting. I didn't expect that on a blue paint scheme, and I actually really like the Credit One blue in a flat scheme. I really do like that. Under the hood here, we've got Chevy and Credit One. On the nose here, little bit of scuffs and rubber buildup. Not much, though. Chevy Camaro ZL1 42 Chip Ganassi Racing. Credit One Bank on the hood. And one of the coolest things about these cars, you'll notice, I'll bring the Larson car back for comparison when we get to Busch, but it's the differences in sunshades here. The Larson one, it's just the Monster Energy banner is extended evenly across down for, I don't know, that's probably a couple extra inches. It's longer than it is normally, and which is interesting because it's even straight across, and the Kyle Busch one isn't. So we'll bring this back for comparison once we get to the Kyle Busch car. 42 on the roof, as well as a Credit One Bank. Larson across the rear window. I got DIN number 97. US Vets on the deck lid. And we'll take a look in the trunk here at the fuel cell. Okay. And now down the driver's side. Got some Contingency sponsors down here. I really do like this scheme. This is probably one of the better Patriotic schemes that we've gotten in recent years. I really like the design of the stars they've got here on the side. NASCAR Salutes logo, of course, there on the A-post. Cloth window net, as we usually get with the Cup cars. Kyle Larson across the name rail. Sponsors down the B-post. Got a few sponsors there In front of the rear tire, Lincoln Welders, Sherwin-Williams, and I'm not really sure. I can't read the one with the K's there. I don't know what that is. And, of course, DC Solar back here on the quarter panel. Nothing on the C-post. On the back bumper here, Credit One Bank, picture of a Credit One Bank credit card, which is kind of cool. 42 Chevy Camaro ZL1, and then you see a little bit of black mark and scuffs here along the very bottom here. I believe that is where Busch got into him in 3 and 4 on the final lap. I'd have to imagine that's what that is. I don't know what else that would be on the back bumper, so that should be where Kyle Busch got into the back of him in what turned out to be the race-winning move after they beat and bang all through that final lap, basically. And then here down the right side, some more scuffs here along the quarter panel. Sponsors and everything are pretty well the same on this side. Goodyear almost completely rubbed off of the right rear and then completely rubbed off the right front. This is where a lot of the damage is, though. I believe all of this came from, and then there's more damage up here on the right front in front of the tire. I believe all of this damage on the right side came from when he slid up into the wall, pulling the failed slide job on Busch off of turn 2. Pretty sure that's where all of that came from as well. So really cool car here. I was actually expecting a little bit more damage than this, but I guess he kept it a little cleaner than I thought he did. Still a cool car, though, nonetheless. All right, so on to the race winner here, Kyle Busch. And I said the Larson car was one of my favorite Patriotic schemes from recent years. I think this Kyle Busch Skittles America Mix scheme is actually probably my favorite. This is actually a really nice scheme, and I really do love this scheme. Underneath the hood, we've got just Toyota Let's Go Places. On the nose, a couple pieces of tape there. Toyota Camry 18 and Joe Gibbs Racing. A little bit of rubber buildup here on the front as well. And then a little bit of scuffs there along Camry. I don't really notice any other scuffs there. I would have expected a little bit more damage from where he got into Larson in 3 and 4, but I guess that's all it was. I'm not really sure. Skittles America Mix on the hood. A little bit of confetti here as we get onto the windshield, Monster Energy. And then you see here, it's a little bit jagged here. It comes across pretty evenly, and then it kind of shoots up here for the sunshade with the Monster Energy banner. And like I said, it's different than Larson's. I'll bring that back over here to compare. Larson's, as you can see, is straight across, whereas Busch's kind of dips up a little bit on the driver's side. So I thought that was kind of interesting that they would actually notice that, because that's something, honestly, I would expect Lionel wouldn't even notice to include on here, that the differences in sunshades for the Monster Energy banner between the two drivers. More confetti across the roof, 18, and America Mix down the back of the roof here. Roof flaps do function on this Kyle Busch car. They didn't on my Coke 600 car. And that's something I forgot to show on the Larson car, but that should work as well. Yes, it does work on the Larson car as well. All right, back to Kyle Busch here. We're very schizophrenic in this review today. Kyle Busch across the back window. DIN numbers on the bottom because of the confetti. I feel like there's not enough confetti here. I feel like they could have put it in the back window here, because usually the reason they put it on the bottom is because you can't see it through the confetti. I feel like you could have seen it through the confetti on this one. Skittles on the rear deck lid. And we'll take a look at the fuel cell detail here, if we can get some light in there. All right. And we'll take a look at the bottom here. The DIN number, we've got DIN number 334. Down the driver's side here, Contingency sponsors, a couple of donut tire marks there between the left front and the 18. Is that where Larson got into him off of 2? I think it might be. I'm not sure. Could just be donuts from earlier in the race, but I mean, overall, I feel like Busch had a pretty clean race in that race. I don't feel like he would have gotten donuts anywhere else. I feel like that has to be from the Larson incident. I'm not really sure. Of course, NASCAR Salutes logo, cloth window net, Kyle Busch along the name rail, as well as 5 winner stickers. This was his 5th win of the season. Sponsors down the B post. Lots of sponsors here in front of the left rear tire. Interstate Batteries, Freightliner, Siemens, Doosan, Lincoln Welders, Mac Tools. I don't know what that one is. Cessna and Sherwin-Williams. A little bit of rubbing here on the left rear tire. All of the Goodyear is wiped off there, as well as a little bit of damage along the wheel well. Ream on the quarter panel. On the back bumper, Skittles and Jewel Osco, Toyota Camry, and the number 18. Nothing really, a little bit of rubber buildup, or I'm not really sure what that is. I mean, it almost looks like fuel spillage, but it's on the wrong part of the car for that. I mean, we do have fuel spillage over here, but I mean, it looks like the same thing, but you wouldn't have fuel spillage on the back bumper, so I'm not really sure what that is. There is some rubber buildup up here on the spoiler as well. And then some more rubber buildup and lots of dirt from where he got into the wall in 3 and 4 after getting into Larson. This is the really cool side of this car. All the Goodyear rubbed off on both tires. Scrapes down this whole side. Really cool on this side. The left front is chewed up because the left front, of course, was flat after he got into the wall there in 3 and 4. In fact, I believe it was flat before then. And that's part of the reason why he got into Larson, because he knew that was his only shot. He couldn't outrace him because he had a flat tire. One thing, though, I will point out here, this is a review, so we've got to, while we are pointing out all the cool stuff Lionel did with this, we also got to point out when they screw up as well. Why is there a fully clear Goodyear logo right here where you got all this blacked out to where the fender was screwed up, you got a flat tire, oh, but the Goodyear logo is fine, and then the Skittles logo is all the way out into here like nothing's wrong. So just thought I'd point that out. There is a slight issue that Lionel brought into this car, but otherwise a really good looking car. I love this. It's a great paint scheme, and it's really cool. The race version is fantastic. All this damage from the last lap duel with Larson, I think, is fantastic. All right, so that is your review of the raced versions from the top 2 finishers in the 2018 Overton's 400 from Chicagoland Speedway. Kyle Busch and Kyle Larson, their epic duel that really became an instant classic in that race. Spurred a few memes, including slide job, oh, almost. I think that was a good Dale Jr. impression. What do you think? Actually, don't let me know, because I feel like that's not going to end well. So I believe that will do it for us on this diecast review. What is our next diecast review? I'm trying to figure out what is chronological order here. Was Daytona or Kentucky first? Kentucky was first, wasn't it? So I believe that would make the Ben Rhodes truck raced version our next diecast review. I think. I'm not sure. I don't remember. No, Daytona was before Kentucky, wasn't it? I don't know. I'm literally figuring this out on the fly here. Daytona, I'm 99% sure was before Kentucky. I can't remember. I didn't look this up before the video. I'm just trying to remember off the top of my head. So if I'm correct and Daytona was before Kentucky, next week's diecast review will be the Eric Jones Daytona raced version from the July Daytona race, his first career victory in the Coke Zero Sugar 400. I'm pretty sure that should be next week's, unless I'm screwed up here and Kentucky actually was first, then it'll be Ben Rhodes. But I'm pretty sure I've got this right. I'm pretty sure Eric Jones is next week, which would make Ben Rhodes the week after that. So we'll see. I'll figure it out between now and then what actually did come first. But like I said, I'm pretty sure it should be Eric Jones. But I believe that'll do it for this one. We got lots of real life on track action coming up this weekend. K&N Pro Series West season opener, actually tomorrow night from the Las Vegas Motor Speedway Bull Ring, the dirt track, their season opener for this season. We've actually got 4 NASCAR races from Vegas this weekend. K&N West on the dirt on Thursday, trucks on the pavement on Friday, Xfinity on Saturday, and Cup on Sunday. So we got lots happening this weekend that we will keep you updated on, both on here and on Twitter. If you're not following us on Twitter already, that's the place to go for practice results, qualifying results, race results, all of that right down to the second as it happens. So if you want live in the moment updates, you need to be following us on Twitter. We'll flash that up on the screen here. It's just at RNN_all_access on Twitter. So that's the place you want to be if you want your live in the moment updates from the track. If maybe you don't know where to go to get updates, if you don't really want to go to multiple different places to get updates, if you just want to stick with Twitter or just stick with RNN to get all your updates from these different races, we'll have you covered on everything. So if you haven't done it already, you need to go down below, hit that subscribe button though, ring the bell for notifications so you don't miss a thing going forward from RNN. And while you're down there, why don't you hit that big thumbs up button if you like the video. It is much appreciated when you do that, and it helps us out so much when you do that. We've picked up so many subscribers and followers and everything over the past few weeks since this season got rolling, and want to welcome everybody here that we haven't welcomed in yet. Welcome into this wild, crazy ride that we call RNN, and got lots of great stuff planned for you as we get now further into the season. Not just race reviews, race previews, diecast reviews, news breaks. We've got some other stuff on the horizon, so get ready for that. I know I've been promising stuff like that for a while, but we do have some things locked down here very soon that will be very cool to show you. So I'm excited. Hope you are too. And yeah, I think that'll do it. So at that, this has been the RNN Diecast Review. As always, I'm your host, Garth Allen, for Racing News Now.